Hello, friends, and welcome to the channel. I'm Handington, and today I'm going to do an off-the-cuff review of Rocketman. Not a full review, just some of my thoughts, actually. Just some thoughts, no spoilers, spoiler-free, but I got to see this movie with a friend. A friend had actually treated me to seeing the movie, which was really awesome, and also bought popcorn. Here's Men in Black International. Don't know if this is a collectible or whatnot. I don't know. Maybe if you're a Men in Black fan. Hello, Coca-Cola. Hello, A-List. So, and it's still has some popcorn left. I wanted to bring it home. Didn't want to throw this out, because it's still good popcorn. Even if it is buttery, unhealthy for you, and will basically clog your arteries, giving you a shorter lifespan. I don't care. It's delicious. So, yeah. What I thought about Rocketman. Good. Really good movie. I liked it. I saw Bohemian Rhapsody not in theaters, but on Amazon. Another friend of ours actually had got the movie, and we got to see it together. And I do concede that technically it is not the best movie in terms of filmmaking and everything. It just seemed kind of okay. Personally, I really enjoyed it. I do enjoy Queen, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It's one of those movies that feels deserving of, let's just have a good time. It's one of those movies that just fits perfectly into that category. It's not exactly accurate to everything, but, you know, it's just one of those, let's just have fun. This is a movie to not really focus too much on. Just, if you like Queen music, then you'd watch Bohemian Rhapsody and just kind of enjoy it. Similar to Detective Pikachu, which I have not seen. Unfortunately, I want to see that soon, but from what I have heard, not the peak highest art of entertainment, but certainly a movie worthy of just enjoying, just having a nice time. Not something to really scrutinize or really focus on. It's one of those things that going in, you gotta think about it as like just a pleasant movie. Just a really solid, pleasant movie. This movie, I think, was better than Bohemian Rhapsody in terms of staging, pacing, and the use of songs and everything. And I just had a really nice time. It goes quick, but not too fast. And it's never too somber that you'd get really too down in the dumps and not enjoy it. It never gets too silly that it just becomes ridiculous. And it keeps up a really good pace and flow to make you feel interested. There wasn't a point in the movie where I just stopped or got a bit tired and was just like, okay, let's just keep going. Nope, that was not a point in the movie. They always found something to make it enjoyable in some way. And they had a whole bunch of references to Elton John and his past. They did, some of the costumes they did a great job on. Some of them were a little bit different, but yeah, either way, it worked. It was fine. I like the costumes. So they had him dressing up as all sorts of different appearances that Elton John had done in the past. Now, I don't know a ton of that about Elton John, so I can't exactly say how accurate it is to his life. So this isn't going to be talking about that in this brief little thoughts video. But they use a staging device, which is really good, and this is, the movie starts up fast. Like, you're not just waiting around for things to happen. The movie pretty much kicks up quickly. I actually thought the start of the movie was one of the logos with, like, a city that goes over. I thought, oh, is it starting with this? And then I realized, oh, no, it's not. There is a little bit of the Hollywood kind of cleaned it up a bit sort of feel. But first off, it was rated R. This was the first R-rated movie I've seen in a theater. Yay! I'm growing up. So I actually had to show my ID, and I had to show that when we went in. So that was cool. I had never done that before. I don't remember what my first R-rated movie was. Yeah, I can't recall. I will attribute it to The Big Lebowski, which I think is rated R, which I saw in film class. So I will just give that the thing, because I want to just say that Big Lebowski was the first one. I don't think it was, but I'll just say that anyway. So this was my first R-rated movie in theaters that I got to see, which was cool. Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, was PG-13. And this movie is rated R, but it could be a PG-13 movie, essentially, but they went for the R primarily for the swearing. And I thought the swearing was done well. Now, I am a person who does not like to swear in my own life. It's not just for YouTube or for show. I genuinely don't like to say certain words because it makes me feel dirty unless a situation were to really arise in which it would be worth it. I don't like swearing. In this movie, the swears were either used for dramatic emphasis or for comedy. And I think it worked very well. I think they did a really... Oh, I should keep this as the background. Whoops. I'm shifting. So, we'll get Coke and Men in Black there. So it was a really good movie. The framing device that it used was really cool, and I loved how it starts off very flashy. And I'm not going to spoil things, but it was something that I noticed that I really enjoyed about the movie. And as the movie goes on, it starts off... It almost gave me a vibe of sort of not pushing, sort of like poking fun at these types of movies, the true story based off of people's lives movies. It felt like it was kind of poking fun at that, because it starts off with like this big grandeur sort of entrance that he makes, and then as the film goes on, because literally in the first minute or two of the film, the framing device has him in the room, and then it goes back in time. The movie is a little bit cut up, nothing that you really can't handle in terms of telling the pace of when things are happening. It is a very abstract movie at points, where there will be times when people will walk into the scene that aren't actually in the scene. It just means their mind. It doesn't tell you this, though. It leaves it up to your own ability to say, hey, I know that this is supposed to be a metaphor. When I move my hand, I am scratching my nose, because for some reason it is itchy and I need another hand to hold the camera. So the framing device in the movie works so well, because he slowly becomes more and more humble, which works into the film in his appearance, and it all works out so well with the movie. They really cared about what they were making. It was a lot of fun to watch. The cinematography was great, at least in my opinion. I thought it was great. It had a whole lot of energy, not too much to be too busy, but enough to really feel like you'd be engaged. So I thought that was great, and it's interesting because it involved the music much better in the story than Bohemian Rhapsody did, because here the music can be used as a montage. The words in the songs all relate to... They tie it into different points in his life, and they'll sometimes have other characters singing the songs. Sometimes there was another point in the movie where another character was singing a song while another character was like yelling at them during the movie. So like the songs in the universe were very abstract. It wasn't too serious. It didn't take itself as serious as like Bohemian Rhapsody, where it was just like, oh, everything is like holier than thou. Even some of Freddie Mercury's mistakes in that movie didn't feel like they were all that bad. And in this movie, they do show Elton John's mistakes and his follies, and they tie that into the film. They also tie into the fact that the songs kind of relate to his life and what he would make songs about. And they did a good job. I thought the actors did a pretty good job as well. I think they did a great job. I'm not going to sell them short. They did a great job. They all felt really good, except at certain points, which I wasn't sure, because it has a bunch of moments in it that are supposed to be funny, and then a couple of moments when they will be talking and then all of a sudden burst out into song randomly and then cut back into something else. I don't know if that was deliberately meant to be funny. I was chuckling on the inside when something would be very random when it would happen, but some absurd things that would happen were just kind of funny. And I don't know if some of them were intended, some of them I don't know if they were. Either way, it was very entertaining in that regard. So it is not boring, and it doesn't get too jokey or too ridiculous. It will just add in certain things. I love the way that they transition things in the movie, where they'll have something like they'll they'll just have kind of weird things, but they'll move into one thing and then come to another thing. It transitioned well. It wasn't just a basic cut. Certain shots weren't exactly shot reverse shot. I'm learning more film terms. I'm happy about that. I am maturing. There was a decent amount of it in the film. A lot of it, I must say. But it wasn't all that. There were some good shots in the movie as well, so I will give it a pass on that. Where they don't just cut to one person talking, and then seeing it from the other person's perspective. And then that's what shot for shot is. They would have certain things where, like, a character could be walking, or coming down a hallway, or something in a room, or whatever. Imagine these popcorn kernels are people. So it had scenes like that. It was good. It was good. It was very interesting. It did a pretty good job of letting you figure out which character is which, so I didn't really get too lost in the film. There was a couple of characters that were similar that I got confused of, but otherwise it was good. It was a good movie. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to give it a recommendation. Definitely give it a shot. If you like Elton John's music, go right ahead. They did play up a lot of the Elton John being gay aspect in the film. I think that's probably what people had wanted to see, so they deliver on that. They did it very well, or at least in my opinion, I think they did it well. They have some moments that just feel very sweet. They have some moments where he just, like, they had some more complex emotions, actually, where it wasn't exactly just... he even said it at one point in the movie, it's not just a black or white feeling. There wasn't a true villain. There were just people who were a bit good, people who were a bit bad, some were a mixture. Unlike in Bohemian Rhapsody, where it was just like, oh, here's a villain, here's a good guy, and it was sort of like that, and you don't really feel for the same sort of mental struggle that Freddie Mercury was going through as you do Elton John in this picture. And Elton John actually had overseen things. I thought it was cool because it portrays him as being great, but also portrays him as, learning himself and still being humble in a way. It felt a bit better. It felt a bit better. It was like somehow making it flashier made it more humble, and I don't know how to describe it other than that, but it was interesting. I thought they did it well. I think it was good. I think it was very good. I thought it was a fun movie. What was something else for me to say? They did the scene where, like, you'd flash back to points in the movie. I thought that was kind of cool. Because they only show for like a second the scenes in the movie, and certain lines that were said in the movie that are just kind of like, kind of tie in to that scene later. It could have been done a little bit better, but it gives actually, no, I think it could have been done a little bit better. But that's like saying that they got a 95 out of 100, so it was good. I liked it. They did a good job with that scene, making you feel what he feels by just playing back seemingly random lines from the movie that would kind of seem like, oh, this is kind of important at a certain section in the movie. And then there was one or two lines that was just like, oh, okay, here you go, you get a little idea of it, and then it would kind of come back and come a little bit full circle. It had a lot of things that came full circle in the movie, so a lot of little details that just would kind of work its, well, not little details, but like basic devices. If you're not really super keen on film, you'll kind of notice these things. If you're a much bigger film buff and you know more about framing devices and shots and the way the stories are told, I think you'd say that it could be a little bit better, at least I think. But something that I loved about this movie was that it didn't take itself too seriously. It wasn't a slogfest, it wasn't just stroking his ego. The fact that they were okay with making it a little sillier and ridiculous at certain points, and kind of, they had fun with the movie. They made it look interesting. They decided, let's have some interesting shots. Let's have some cool scenes in here. Let's have some random looking scenes that make sense and aren't actually completely random. They make sense. It was great. It was really, really great. Even the outfit that Elton John wears at the framing device has a purpose to it, and it's good. they had more complex emotions that you could just feel. And a lot of them weren't just black and white. A lot of them were just there are some good things that came out of bad situations and bad things that came out of bad situations. And I thought that was good. It did good. Oh, and one other scene that I want to talk about, which I loved, was that at one point Elton John is just standing, and then, as per Rocketman, his feet start to take off like a rocket, and then there's dust not dust, the smoke all around him. It just goes, and then he takes off into space, and then he starts to, excuse me, whoa. So he starts to fly off into space just randomly at one point, and I was looking as he was moving into the sky, and I was just thinking, please let him either get hit by an airplane or explode into a firework. I think that would be amazingly silly. And you know what they did? Do you know what they did? They did both! He gets hit by an airplane that's flying overhead, and he explodes into a firework! It was amazing! I loved it! It was so funny. I love it. And then they tied it into, that was another transition, because then in a puff of smoke, he poofs into a scene on an airplane. So it made sense for the movie as well. It made sense in transitioning it. So it wasn't boring. It was so cool. I loved that scene so much. Because I was just thinking, like, come on, it would be so funny. I love when airplanes come out of nowhere and quote-unquote kill someone at the end of something, like the Mary Poppins episode in The Simpsons, when she flies off in her umbrella, and then Homer's like, don't worry, kids, I have a feeling we'll see her again one day. Or even in that TV show that was not as good as Jimmy Neutron Planet Sheen, when Sheen is just in the yard with Carl, and they're both, like, friendship twirling, and he flings Carl just kind of across the yard, and then a low-flying airplane comes by. I love that. I love that whenever something does that, and they did it in the movie, and that to me was like, you know what? They're having fun with this. They wanted to make this movie. Elton John, like, gave his sign of approval to be like, yeah, you know what? Absolutely do this. I don't want it to be, like, super somber or something. It felt like Elton, honestly. And while I'm not the most familiar with every single song that he's done, it was good. And they also ended it very well. I won't say what it is, but they ended that very well, and they ended it on my favorite Elton John song. Yes! So that was an extra bonus. It was a great movie, and I came out of it feeling good. I had a nice time with my friend. As such, popcorn has not been finished. I will enjoy this and share some with my sister as well. It was good. It was really good. Oh, and before it, one of the funniest things was a trailer for Gemini Man, I think, and it's Will Smith hunting down Will Smith, and I was just thinking, Will Smith is trying to kill his career. He's trying to kill himself. He's sabotaging himself. What a poetic movie. Especially at the same time as Aladdin came out, which I was not interested in seeing, nor was my friend. So, spend your money on this movie. Not Men in Black. Not the Coca-Cola movie. Rocketman. Watch Rocketman. It was even more fun. If you enjoy Bohemian Rhapsody, you will probably like this, if not more. Otherwise, you'll like it the same. It was just a good movie. I give it a thumbs up. Not two, because I can't, hold on. One thumb, two thumbs. There we go. So, I believe it's that time again, friends. If you like what I do, don't be shy to give a thumbs up. Not two thumbs up like the Roger Ebert thing, the system of rating, but just a regular thumbs up, either in your heart, on the like button, or, I don't know, in person. I don't know. Have a pleasant day, everyone, and this is Handington, signing off. Bye! I always keep forgetting that. Let's zoom into the popcorn while I wait for the awkwardness to stop.